Why does it always do that? Huh? Why does it always do that? It's always... It always does that. The microphone just like decides randomly one day, probably like twice a month, to just not work. I start up the live stream and everything's fine. I never change any of the settings and it's just like, we don't really want to work right now. Okay, all right. Basically, guys, inflation fears are back, all right? Bitcoin fell off a cliff this morning. You know what? Hold on. Let's take a second. Let's have a paused moment, sip from our sponsor. Delicious. Water. Not sponsored, although it should be. Okay. When he realizes, Lord have mercy. God damn it, guys. Good morning, Don. Good morning, David. Good morning, Landon. Good morning, Don. Oh my God, we got 2 Dons in the chat right now. Thank you guys all. Good morning, C90. Appreciate all you guys being here and letting me know that the mic was muted because I would have just continued on the rambling and on the rant. All right, so if we zoom in here to the hourly for Bitcoin, you'll see that this morning we were up at $124,700 on Bitcoin. And then we saw the PPI numbers come out, the producer price index, which is inflation for the producers instead of the consumers. That came in disgustingly hotter than expected, and I'll get into that in a few moments and what that means. And it caused everything to drastically sell off here. Bitcoin all the way down to 118. Ethereum fell all the way from 4,800 down to 4,400. Ethereum has bounced back beautifully. Same thing with Solana. Solana and Ethereum look really good here considering what just happened to Bitcoin. And we see that in Bitcoin dominance. According to the drawing I put on here a couple weeks ago, Bitcoin dominance should be falling off a cliff here today. Whether it happens today or later this week, doesn't matter. It's the same kind of issuance, the same patterns playing out, and it should be a pretty quick little flash crash on dominance here in the next few hours to days, in my opinion here. Yeah, that was a crazy morning, guys. So this live stream today, we're going to talk a lot about the broader economics of what this inflation spike means, okay? What the producer price index coming in way hotter than expected means. So Ben Cohen here said someone is going to be fired, and that's probably spot on because Trump right now is going on a rampage firing people who are reporting bad economic data. Now, this is in his grand effort to reconstruct how the economic data is collected and reported, which I'm a big fan of because we all know that this data is extremely inaccurate, gets revised every single month, and oftentimes does not reflect the actual underlying thing that it's representing. Nonetheless, PPI came in right now at 3.7 when the estimate was at 2.9. And it is even worse if you were to zoom in and look at the month over month readings. So for July, it was expected to be 0.3. It came in at 0.9. Guys, that's like a 10% inflationary environment. You know how this works. You guys know how this works. Let's pull up the trusty dusty calculator. Okay, we got 0.9 month over month. Annualize that out at 12 months, we got almost an 11% inflationary rate for the producers right now. Okay, that's coming off the back of a 0%, a 0.4, which was kind of elevated, and 2 negative readings. So we have had almost no inflationary concerns for the last several meetings, the several months. Now all of a sudden coming in at 0.9. One that could be fine if it wasn't for the fact that the market was expecting 0.3. That difference tells us that analysts have no idea what's going on out there in the actual economy. The actual economy is suffering while everyone else in the stock market, in the virtual economy, thinks everything's going just fine. It's underlying, it looks like it's not. Now, there's a lot of caveats to this, and we're going to get into all of them. You could have seen this coming if you paid attention to the ISM data, which I generally don't pay attention to it because I think it's just a lot of noise. But the ISM data here is the Institute of Supply Management. It's the Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index. So it's PMI, right? This is kind of a more well-rooted way to measure inflation on a shorter time frame because they report more frequently. And if you look through this, you'll see that we got a bit of a spike a couple reportings ago on the ISM rating, which should have indicated to people that inflation was going to heat up a little bit here. If you go look at trueflation, which is a much better representation of where we're at in the economy for inflationary readings, you'll see that back in March, we were down at 1.3%, bottomed out here in April at 1.22%, and we've seen that spike come in. And knowing that CPI and PPI lag quite dramatically, we're seeing this moment right now as inflation picks up a bit. This is all because of the tariffs, right? This is all because of the tariffs. Now, the tariffs in and of itself is not likely a permanent inflationary thing. Tariffs are, and you guys have heard this already, tariffs are a form of taxes on corporations. That's what they are. The corporation can choose to eat that in the profit margins or pass it on to the consumer. But you see the tariffs first in the PPI numbers and the ISM numbers, right? And then if they're going to pass off some of it to the consumer, which at this point, I was listening to a video on some of the earnings calls. I wasn't listening to the earnings calls of the companies, but I was listening to someone go over the earnings calls to a basket of companies. And they were saying how on average it looked like roughly 20 to 30% of these price hikes were being passed on to the consumer. So I don't think the CPI data will come in as bad as this PPI data is coming in. And I believe full-heartedly it's going to end up being a short-lived spike in inflation, which is just unfortunate timing because it's happening right as we enter into Jackson Hole and right at the same time that we're supposed to be getting a rate cut. All right. And I'm gonna preface all of this with saying that I am not an expert in the field at all. Okay. I am very passionate and I've studied it for nearly a decade now, but I'm not an expert. I don't have a degree in it. This is just my experience and me forming my opinion, which should go without saying. But we're going into Jackson Hole, which is the Economic Policy Symposium. It's held at the end of this month. So in a week, they'll start it. This is when we're going to get to hear from Jerome Powell, where he actually gets to talk freely without having the constraints of the other chair members at the Fed and kind of that roboticness that he needs to do whenever sitting in front of everyone talking about the interest rate decisions, right? He's going to be speaking a little bit more freely at this symposium. And so we'll actually get to see his genuine thoughts on the market and what he's expecting to do with interest rates. Right now, if you go look at Fed futures, and whatever. Right now, if you go look at Fed futures, we're still above 90% certainty that we're getting a rate cut in September. So until this drops below 85%, we're getting a rate cut in September, right? It can move back and forth from now until then, but as we get closer and closer to the day of September 17th, as long as this is above 85%-ish, we'll get a rate cut. The reason being, while it's not 100% certainty, it virtually is, because this tool, this futures market for the decisions for interest rates and policy making here, is the market's understanding of what the Federal Reserve is going to do. And if all of a sudden the Fed does what the opposite of what the market expects them to do, that trust bond that is built between the two gets decimated. And that can't happen, otherwise the Fed loses some credibility, some major credibility. So pay close attention to this website. Pay close attention to this website. All that to say, this spike in inflation that we're about to enter into for the next month or two, that's going to cause everyone to really get afraid that we're going into the 1970s style inflation era again, is very short-lived. Very short-lived. Unless the tariffs continue to get hiked, right? These one-time hikes is going to cause a one-time spike in inflation, but we've been averaging for the last year 2.2 inflation, according to Trueflation, which is way more accurate than the actual readings. So we've been averaging right at where the Fed's target is. So this little bit of a spike should get met it should be able to be absorbed into the market. At least that's the expectations. The other thing that I want to bring up to you guys, and then we'll get into more of the crypto side of everything, and I'll read through some of the comments you guys are leaving on the market and everything. So leave your thoughts. I am genuinely interested to hear what everyone has to say. But the other thing to bring up here is that the lower the dollar goes, the less of an inflationary effect tariffs will have on the US economy. So we know that Trump really wants the dollar to go down. The lower the dollar goes, the more attractive it is for a foreign government or a foreign country's economic participants to interact and trade with America. So if you can decrease the value of the dollar, then it will eat some of that impact that would otherwise be represented in the inflation numbers from the spike in tariffs. Does that make sense? It's all got to do with fractions, right? If you change the denominator, then you're going to change the entire outcome of the division, right? So the dollar being the denominator, if you can make it lower, you're going to make it a lot more beneficial to trade with the United States. By lowering interest rates, bear with me guys. By lowering interest rates, you will lower the value of the dollar. That is a big reason why Trump wants interest rates lower. That and the debt that needs to be refinanced this year that represents like 18% of the entire debt that we have in the United States. By lowering the interest rates, you will lower the value of the dollar because right now people are buying the dollar to buy US bonds at an elevated interest rate, right? Because it's viewed as one of those risk-free assets that people can hold. And so if you lower that interest rate, people are less likely to buy bonds, which is going to make it so that the dollar will go down because in order to buy a bond, you need to buy a dollar first. So that should eat a lot of the inflation as well. Believe it or not, yes, you heard me. If you extrapolate that out, by lowering interest rates, you're actually going to help lower inflation in that environment. And there's a lot to this, guys. There's a lot to it, right? You have to look and see other parts of the supply chain to see if that's going to impact inflation versus just interest rates, because the reason we had that 9% inflation was not because interest rates were at zero, it's because the supply chain completely stopped, right? So there's different things that go into an inflationary reading here. And supply chain management has gone a lot better, especially with the increase of artificial intelligence. It's a lot easier to manage supply right now, supply chains. So the interest rate just happens to be the only thing that the Fed can control in order to reduce inflation. But by reducing the interest rate, you're going to get a sell-off in the dollars, which will eat into some of the tariff nonsense that's going on, making it so that the inflation doesn't get hit as hard. Hopefully that all makes sense to you guys. All that to basically say, I don't think it's going to be a long-lasting thing at all. I think that we're going to get a cool-off in the market here for a couple days, potentially through the rest of the week. Who knows? It's also correlating exactly with Ethereum coming within $100 of its prior all-time high. So it makes sense on a technical standpoint that we would get a bit of resistance here, especially when you look at the fact that on the daily chart, Ethereum right now was 87% away from its 200-day moving average. That's kind of excessive. That's pretty excessive. So a little bit of a pullback here would be pretty normal, pretty healthy. Maybe we end up just going through another period like this where we get like 2 or 3 weeks of consolidation and then we blast off up into this little janked magnet that I drew. All right, cool. All right, guys. Hit me with what you guys want to talk about. What's going on? Oh, I need to take a sip. Does that make sense? Can I get some ones in the chat if my ranting right there makes sense to why I don't think this inflationary stuff is a big hurdle and why I think that they'll still cut rates despite inflation picking up a little bit? Can I get some ones in the chat if that makes sense? Put a 0 if you disagree with me. I'm curious. No, Beagle. Beagle, no. It's over. Sell everything. No. Probably coincidence, but remember the Eagle AI Bitcoin prediction yesterday? Oh, I remember. That's one of the first things I thought about. It really, really was out here saying, hey, Bitcoin probably about to collapse. That's crazy work. That's crazy work on Eagle AI. It was a bit late. It predicted it a lot earlier than what actually ended up happening, but goddamn did it end up happening. Also, wasn't there a CME gap on Bitcoin down at 117 or something like that? Let's go to the daily. So I think this just filled a CME gap. Oh, no, it didn't. Friday was down here. So we have a CME gap through here. Did you see how smooth that line was? My God. I gotta go buy a lottery ticket. Spectre says 1. Let's go. Heading out now. Let's go, Don. Let's go. Deflation is the problem. AI and blockchain are going to make goods and services cheaper. They are scaring people bad, so in the future it can work one more time. Clearly the Fed has lost control. I just think that the Fed, like Jerome's entering into the last couple months of his term here. He wants to leave with a good reputation in the Fed. He wants to make sure that he does not end up getting viewed as whoever was before Paul Volcker back in the 70s, right? So he wants to protect his reputation here. He wants to make sure that inflation does not come back in. And so he's doing whatever it takes, sacrificing the job market, if you will. I was just looking at some statistics on the job market, and I should probably pull it up with you guys so you guys can see it. But you know how they count the unemployment rate for anyone who's been unemployed but looking for a job in the last 6 months? But if you've been unemployed for longer than 6 months, you get put into a different category that's viewed as just you don't want to work, so we're not even going to count you in the unemployed rate. Well, if you took those people and added it back into the unemployment rate, we'd be upwards of 7% right now. But instead we're down in the 4% range because of just how they calculate it. So it's just phony numbers to make whatever you want look good, which I didn't even get to that subject. I completely forgot to mention how Trump's literally out here trying to cancel the reporting of any more economic data coming out of the job market until he can rework how they can measure everything. He just fired the person who was reporting on the data because they kept revising it down, making him look bad. Craziness, guys, craziness. And honestly, it needs to be done, and none of that data is super accurate, but it's the best we have right now. It needs to be revamped, but I don't think right now is a good time to go without any of that economic data. I just think that is a poor choice. Nice line drawing, boss. Let's go, C90. Let's go. Is there anything outside of AI, DeSci, top alts that you're looking at? Nope. AI and DeSci. Some InfoFi stuff like Kaito or Protocol. But most, that's it. Just AI and DeSci. A little bit of InfoFi just because I think it's a strong, strong narrative. You need Brian Shaw's steel mug. I know. Honestly, I've thought about it. I keep getting that on TikTok. And I agree, Vibra. Deflation is much more important. Okay, let's do a thought experiment here for a second. Let's say, theoretically, Jerome Powell is completely correct in his thoughts here. And inflation is the true problem. And inflation's going to spike up like crazy, so he keeps interest rates high. If by keeping interest rates elevated, you dampen the job market to the point where we get mass layoffs. Remember, Amanda works at TikTok. They just laid off a bunch of people at TikTok, like a crap ton of people at TikTok. Amazon just laid off a bunch of people. Microsoft just laid off a bunch of people. We have some pretty sizable layoffs already happening. So what happens if that ticks up while interest rates are super high? Cutting interest rates doesn't reverse that. It can help soften it or prevent it, but it doesn't reverse it. So we get mass layoffs while interest rates are elevated, and inflation completely goes out the window. It's dead. In a recession where everyone's getting laid off, there is no more inflation. We go straight into deflation and money printing and currency debasement. So it's not a good, this is not one of those times that you should be worried about inflation at all. Everything looking forward says inflation is going to be pretty much dead unless some wild black swan event happens. Another pandemic. Thoughts on Pfizer Ventures, Michael Barron joining SEI's 65 million Sapin Capital as strategic DeSci advisor. FX Snowy, let's go. Let's go. Fuck, I didn't even see that. I didn't even see it. So let's go look. Let's bookmark that so I can come back and see it. Do you have a link to it so we could talk about it? I was so wrapped up in all of the inflationary economic data this morning and seeing that Brian Armstrong wants to test LSD as a lifespan extension on worms, and then Pump Science getting super hyped. That's what I was noticing this morning. But if you could send a link, I would love to talk about it. Would love to talk about it. We could also just look it up here. Longevity tech. Bullish. Damn. When was this article from? You guys see a date? They are orchestrating a controlled demolition of the economy. Let's go. Eleanor, looks like Eleanor probably correlated this happening, that made this happen. She's a pretty powerhouse in DeSci. Okay. I want to read some more of the comments though before I read through this. Alt J makes the line straight from the right side. Does it really? That's pretty cool actually. Good to know. Good to know. They're orchestrating a controlled demolition of the economy. It is in fact wild. Inflation numbers are bogus. Also, Biden took out coffee and gas prices to make inflation look better and hasn't changed back. Yeah, to be fair, every year they change the inflation numbers and how they measure it, which in and of itself completely destroys any validity in the numbers. If you're going to measure something, it needs to be consistent. You can't change it consistently. If the only consistency is that you are going to change the basket of goods that is measured to represent inflation, then you know that you have crappy numbers, right? The statistics are not good. But that's crazy. How are you going to take out coffee and gas just because they skyrocketed? Why aren't we using AI for the data Vs on a bunch of boomers sitting in a room? Yeah. No, these reports are worse than you could ever imagine. How the data is collected for a lot of these inflationary numbers is significantly worse than you could ever imagine. It's literally just a bunch of people calling up companies and calling up individuals and asking them questions. It's survey based. And survey based might have worked back in the 60s and the 70s, but it doesn't work anymore. Most people don't even have landlines, and if they do have a landline, they're not picking it up. Like, it's not something that you can rely on. And then even most of the companies reporting are big corporations, not small mom and pop companies. And most of the US economy is based on small mom and pop economies. So like, you need those people reporting. You don't need them not reporting. Updates on Bill Nye. Hope everyone hits that like button. Let's go, Spec Truth. Everyone, make sure you hit that like button. We go live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk about decentralized science, the broader crypto markets. Today, we're talking about inflation because of this dismal PPI number that came out. 3 times what was expected for the month-over-month reading on Producer Price Index. My guess, it's all driven by that tariff hike. I mean, there's no updates specifically today, Spec, but I know that you haven't been here in a few days. We've missed you. But his dashboard's been out for the better part of a week, and he's just been trucking along, trying to make new partnerships and get more and more access to information so that he can continue to be everyone's go-to DeSci resource. Okay, let's read that article. You also only get counted as unemployment if you're filing for unemployment benefits. As I'm not getting benefits, my choice, I'm not being counted as the unemployment rates. Yeah, exactly. It's a bogus number, and even that bogus number is ticking up. I mean, I don't know what that means, Spec. Everything's working just fine. He's not down at all. Okay, where is it? All right, so DeSci has long promised to liberate science from the shackles of centralized funding bodies. Yet much of the movement remains in proof of concept purgatory. I mean, it's going, until we finish that first complete wheel on the flywheel, we will be in that proof of concept purgatory. Until we get that first IP token that is through clinical trials and into FDA approval, until we get that first therapy that's all the way through the whole process, it is still in proof of concept. This is the signal that the grown-ups have arrived, thrilled to be collaborating together. Damn. Trying to insult everyone who's been through the space. Pfizer Ventures, Michael Barron joins Sapin Capital's DeSci push. Biopharma veteran to advise SAY's $65 million open science fund on scaling decentralized research for longevity, health, and biotech. Sapin Capital. The DeSci investment arm of the C Foundation has appointed Dr. Michael Barron, partner at Pfizer Ventures, as their strategic advisor. His role will be to shape the investment strategy for the $65 million open science fund and to guide the growth of SAY's DeSci vertical, with the stated aim of making the blockchain platform the infrastructure rails for the future of scientific collaboration in longevity, biotech, and other frontier research domains. Hey, I am a big fan of getting more people involved in the space. This guy is likely to bring an onslaught of other people in a similar circumstance to him, other trad-sci individuals and big pharma people into the space. So if they can boost recognition, start pouring some money into the space, I'm down for it. The timing reflects both a maturation and a challenge for DeSci. While early projects have demonstrated a proof of concept in areas such as decentralized funding, community-led data ownership, and tokenized research participation, many have yet to progress to large-scale deployment. Barron, good luck right now. In the last 2 or 3 years of the crypto market, good luck raising the $800 million that is required typically to send a drug through the full clinical trial. Barron's remit will be to help convert such prototypes into sustainable, operationally robust ventures capable of addressing real bottlenecks in drug development and traditional science. Pfizer, through its venture arm, has already dipped into DeSci with VitaDAO, so Barron's new advisory role isn't a random leap, but can be viewed as part of a longer strategic interest in decentralized science models. Longevity technology. DeSci has promised to liberate science from the shackles of centralized funding bodies and glacial publication cycles. Yet, for all the rhetoric, much of the movement remains mirrored in proof of concept purgatory, with enthusiasm outpacing adoption. The appointment of Michael Barron is therefore more than just another hire. It is a signal that the grown-ups have arrived. Barron brings a track record forged in the pressure cooker of biopharma investments in research and development, and his presence suggests an intent to bridge the gulf between crypto native ideals and the operational realities of drug development, particularly in longevity, where timelines are measured in decades and budgets in billions. If DeSci is to escape its echo chamber and build the institutional grade system that can turn molecular hunches into regulatory approved therapies, then strategic news, I don't know what that word is, nows, of this caliber is non-negotiable. Now, I very much agree, but I don't think you needed to shit on the whole space to get the point across. I very much agree with what they're saying here. We need more of this, but I think it's just funny. And the M-dashes are also funny, but that's okay. Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. Let's get more people in the space. Come on. Everyone work together. Let's go. Let's get people in here. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's get some therapies to clinical trials. Let's get through clinical trials. Let's go. I'm so down for it. Damn it, Spec Truth. You can't redact a message. You can mods. Undo the redaction. I believe there is tax incentives for companies to say they are hiring, but they never fill the position, thus gives false information to the government. That is definitely part of it, Castle. It also is a competitive thing. Let's say you have OpenAI and xAI, right? Sam Altman and Elon Musk going head to head, trying to create the best artificial intelligence out there. If all of a sudden Sam Altman removes all positions for hiring at OpenAI, that's going to be public news. That Elon's going to shout that from the rooftops. Look at OpenAI's not hiring anyone. Look at how bad that company is doing. It's going to be news everywhere. But if instead they just keep those positions open and just never actually fill them, then they can have the same effect internally on budget without all the bad PR that's going to come with not hiring as much, a hiring freeze, you know? So it is very much a politics game. It's just trying to look as good as you possibly can. And that is genuinely everything. That is genuinely everything. Even this article I just read, the whole goal of it was to make it so that Say looked like one of the leaders in DeSci, despite nothing really coming from Say yet. Hopefully this changes that, and hopefully they can push things out from here and really start becoming a prominent figure in the space. But it's all about narrative. It's all about your perceived authority in a given field. Even me talking like this, it's something that's taken me a while to get down. But even me speaking without saying in my opinion, or like maybe this won't end up playing out, but here's what I think might end up happening. Even me just coming out and saying cutting interest rates is going to lower the dollar, thus kill inflation, and not saying like it might not, is speaking from a position of authority, which crafts a narrative to make you look really good. You know what I mean? And so that's literally everything out there. It just takes a bit of time to get used to it all. My throat is super scratchy this morning. I've applied to those ghost jobs in biomedical manufacturing. Yeah. Bruh, in 2022, I applied. Let's go look at Bitcoin during 2022. I'm not exaggerating. Okay, when I say this to you guys. In 2022, when the markets were crashing and we were seeing layoffs and a freeze in hiring, I applied to over 1,000 jobs when I got fired from my other job. What the hell? I think I did like 10 interviews and I didn't get accepted to a single one of those jobs. I applied to 1,000 jobs and I was overqualified for a good chunk of those jobs, and most of them never reached out to me. Crazy work. Crazy, crazy work. Malevolent? What is that word? Castle? What is that word? I don't even know how to pronounce it, but a personality trait that sees a person so focused on their own interests they will manipulate, deceive, and exploit others to achieve their goal. Ugh, that's gross. Narcissism, malevolentism, and psychopathy. The dark triad. That's funny. I'll show you guys. It's funny. Crazy work. Okay, all in all, if we are to look at things from a glass half full perspective, this really doesn't change anything. We're just back on Bitcoin to the same price range that we've now been in here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks now at the same price on Bitcoin. Yeah, we're volatile. We go up, we go down, we go up, we go down, but it's just been consolidating here as we wait for the moving averages to potentially come up and kiss price action to send us higher. Whereas we wait for the monetarily increasing slopes that we are in for this channel to find us and boost us higher. You go look at Ethereum, and we are still up on the week for Ethereum. A solid 7%. Okay? A 7% gainer week on Ethereum. That's like, I think 75% of the gains that the S&P 500 has had for the entire year of 2025 so far. You go look at things, you put it all into perspective, and yes, unfortunately, price action has come down to where it was on Tuesday. It's Thursday, guys. Oh my God, it's Thursday. I have to do the giveaway. I have to do the drawing for the giveaway. Holy shit. Thank you guys for reminding me that it's Thursday. Did you forget to identify as Native American, non-binary? Yes. Oh God. Yes. No comment, Spectruth. But yeah. We're literally just back down to where we were 2 days ago. So I think it's fine. I think that anything, like, we're fine, guys. Nothing has honestly happened. It's a short-term little hiccup as we get just a reason for the market to cool off. Because we've been going absolutely astronomical. And we need periods of time for consolidation to allow these coils for price action to recoil and spring back up so we can go even higher. If we just went up to 5,000 in a straight line, we'd probably get a pretty gnarly crash. So getting a crash is on the way is better. Let's go, John Smith. Let's go, baby. Okay. Now, we have 20 minutes left on the live stream. 20 minutes left on the live stream. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the live stream as much as I am. Why do I have so many tabs open? Where is it? Is this it? Yeah. Okay. I'm having a good time on this live stream. Genuinely, I'm appreciating your guys' interaction and my ability to just completely rant about a topic that honestly can put people to sleep, but has all of you guys paying close attention to it, which is gorgeous to see. I love that. I love it. If we go look, I also wanted to pull this up, which was the money flows through crypto. If you look at the net inflows right now, a lot of money from stablecoins is going into BNB and more stablecoins. You're not seeing much money flow into the market right now. As far as money leaving, we're seeing Bitcoin go straight to stablecoins. You're seeing Solana go straight to stablecoins. You're seeing XRP go straight to stablecoins. Like most of the money right now is flowing out of the crypto market. Ethereum's money, you're getting a little bit of Bitcoin into Ethereum, but then most of the Ethereum outflows are going straight into stablecoins with a little, actually no, like half of it leaving the market, USD. We got $500 million leaving Ethereum for USD. That's pretty crazy. And then we got $250 million leaving for stablecoins. So not fully leaving the market, but definitely getting scared here. I just don't think it's going to be, I don't think it matters. Hello, DeSci friends. What's good, Marco? Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Okay, now let's go ahead and get into picking the winner of the giveaway. How do we do this? I did not prep. I got completely sidetracked with the news this morning. Picking the winner of this giveaway live at noon tomorrow. If you haven't entered, all you have to do is tell me what brought you into DeSci and when I did it. JK, Raffle. I thought I was being funny. So let's go ahead and compile a list of usernames for people who have been brought into DeSci for this giveaway. Wheel of names, random name picker. Okay, so this is gonna take me a minute, honestly, so you guys feel free to ask questions. Damn, how is there any more sellers on Algo? Algo is a dino coin, my guy. There's gonna be infinite sellers on those. You got people holding Algorand. You have people who have been holding Algorand since back here in February of 2021, who are just sick and tired after 1,600 days of being in something that has not gone up, while over that same time frame you have things like Nvidia going up more than anyone could have possibly imagined. But still, nonetheless, 1,600 days puts us down here, February of 2021. You got a 92% decrease, which means that thing's literally up like 1,500%, 1,300%. So you could have held Algorand for 1,500 days and made zero money, or you could have held Nvidia and made 1,300%. So there's going to be a lot of sellers on stuff like that, because a lot of people just after a long time get sick and tired of holding on to something that's not giving them any gains, you know? And to be completely honest with you guys, I'm one of those people who have held on to a bag of Algorand. It was only like $100 because that's all I had when I was dabbling into crypto that I was willing to put into Algorand. I put most of the rest of it into Ethereum at the time, but like I held on to it. I round tripped it, and now I'm like, that's dust. I'm just gonna leave it there, and if it ever turns into something, lit. If it doesn't, whatever. But if I see that thing spike, I'm selling it. You know, I'm out. So even though it's only $100, it's still $100. Okay, let's look. All right, so no comments underneath this one. Let's go to this post, see if we got any quote posts of people. No, I don't want to quote it. I want to see the quotes. All right, we got this person. Just grab his name, C, Control V. Then we got C90, let's go. WC90. Then we got this person, Shulks, or Shocks. All right, keep going. We got Crypto Agent, Crypto Smith, that is. Grab that username. We'll keep the wheel of names going and continuing onwards. We have this investor. Might as well put my name in the race as well. I'm just kidding. We got Spec Truth. Shout out Spec Truth. Bullish. W. If I don't end up seeing everyone in the live stream's name right now, I'm going to ban you permanently from the live stream. Completely unemotional. Let's also go through, because I did not do this yet, but make sure that we like all of these posts. Damn, Spec Truth, your post popping off there. And this guy, Bookum. Okay, and then we go back underneath it. We got this person. We got Hellas saying congrats. We got Joey Truthseek, W Truth. Let's grab that username. Can we not grab it on this? Damn it. Can I grab it here? No. Okay. That's going to be annoying. Control C. W. I'm permabanned. C90, I saw your name on it though. I saw your name as someone who commented. DeSci Curious. Why decurious? Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Also, just for everyone to know, as soon as this giveaway is over, I'm going to do another giveaway of equal value. All you're gonna have to do is follow the other account, the Mino account, Mino data, because I want to give him some followers for doing this. Wow, impressive, congratulations, that's great. Okay, well, you guys don't get entered into the contest because you didn't do anything to get it. Then we go over, this one's gonna be where I think the difficulty rises, because we're gonna go to mentions, and we have to scroll through to see. You have enough names. Let me in, says Steven. As long as you get it in before I finish with this, then I gotta let it be, you know? Okay, this person, not talking about what got them in. Bullish on DeSci because my entire life savings is in it. Let's go, Don. Let's put Don in the giveaway. I messed up. Copy. Control V. There we go. We got David here. Bill Nye is a perfect companion for DeSci summer and fall. While I agree with that, that is not a reason. What's the qualification for airdrop? Not a qualification. I should be responding to this stuff, so maybe I will unlike it just so I know to come back and respond. Love this. DeSci is the future, and it's inspiring to see you leading the charge, keeping it real impact in mind. Bullish. What do you think, Spec Truth? Should we enter them into the giveaway as well? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Bullish right up. God damn. Let's go, Spec Truth. Let's go. Should we put the people, Spec, the people that commented underneath your thread, should we put them in? I have a feeling that this person, that's the entry into it. He says nah. Okay. I have a strong feeling that this is that person's entry. It's science without bottlenecks, real utility, real impact. That investor, Poseidon Dow, bullish. We already got him in the giveaway. Not these guys. Too much at once. Congrats on 9/11. I vouch for DeSci. Pilled me with all your lives. I'm gonna add too much at once because he is a G and he's commenting underneath it. And I know that wasn't under that one, but this one was under it. Bullish. We already got DeSci Curious. This is the real alpha. It's happening. LFG, take it higher. It's definitely not a token, but a whole movement. Let's go. Oh, guys, I have a conversation to have at 2 p.m. today. Congratulations. Love to see it. Let's go. New King of the Pill. W Beagle. Oh, Guinea. Almost forgot about Guinea. Hell yeah, Guinea. I know you're watching. There's a lot more people than I expected. Did we put David in this? This was more difficult than I expected. Hell yeah, Beagle. Let's get that. Let's get it. Let's get it. We don't have more than one Beagle, right? No. Okay. Bullish. Spec, if we don't do it this week, I'm going away on a trip next week. I will tell you guys more about it in moments. We already put Jonathan in this, right? Yeah, we did. We put huge crypto balls in there already. He was there, but the network wasn't good. RIP. You were there, that's all that matters. You were with us, that's all that matters. Just so he feels included. This guy, I think, should be included just for the sake of it. All right, I think this looks like everyone. Would you guys agree that was likely everyone in the giveaway? Oh. Huge crypto balls. Already in it, my guy. Already in it. Okay. Let's see. Does this look like an appropriate amount of people? We have 5 people who are going to be winning some. 5 names. Yes, I know you are, Steven. I know you are. Funny name. I almost feel like I need to put in a blank name for someone who I inevitably missed who gets mad that they didn't get picked. Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing, C90. I'm going to do... I'm gonna tag the 5 people who win, and then they're gonna have to come DM me with their wallet information. Otherwise, they're not getting it. I am not hunting anyone down. Most of you guys are probably in the live stream right now. This wheel is probably just you guys in the live stream. But all right, ready? We got 5 giveaways. Let's pull up. Actually, before I do this, suspense. Dun, 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 dun. Let's look up and see Mino. Did it graduate? I'd be super sad if that's it. That's not it, because it's radium. Let's go to Pump Science. Again, everyone please go follow the Mino account. Everyone please go follow so that it looks good. I am not taking anything for this giveaway, just FYI. But let's pause this. Let's grab that market cap, invert it, and there's Mino, $12,000 market cap. So this is very much, these tokens are not worth anything right now, but it is 500,000 tokens, which is a lot, especially when this thing inevitably gets off the bonding curve, and if it has a good chance at popping off, this is something that can really do good. But you guys know how I feel about all of them. You guys know how I feel about all of these compounds. Let's look for something with the 5 in the denominator, or not denominator, just 5 leading the charge here. There's 5, you get 0.02. So you get 0.3 of a Solana. Sell 500,000. Oh, I don't get the number. Whatever, dude. Whatever. Look at these numbers. Yeah, you're looking at like $5 or something. Pretty cool. All right. Okay. One of my kids was choking on a Costco hot dog for a minute. Haha. All good there. So now I'm back. All right. Well, that's scary, C90. That's terrifying. Hopefully they're fine. We don't want anyone choking on a Costco hot dog, although I see you being budget friendly. Okay, let's go ahead and get the 5 giveaway winners. And then I shall, after the live stream, compose the post for the second giveaway, which will only be 24 hours. So make sure you guys enter in if you do not win. Wild Africa, I don't see your name. I don't know what your username is over on X, but I don't see you entered into it. So I apologize, but I'm going to have to spin the wheel now. And maybe you can win the next one. Unless you are one of these names and I just didn't end up seeing it. Can you confirm, did you already get in or no? Because I have to do it now, so I'm sorry. Click to spin. All right, Spec Truth wins the first one. Let's go. Spec Truth. Yeah. Yeah. Remove. All right, the odds just went up for every other person in this wheel of names. We spin it again. We have several more to go. I'm not there. RIP Wild Africa. I'm sorry. And we have Steven, Huge Crypto Balls, wins the second one. 2 huge, all caps, crypto balls. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Remove him from the name again. On to the next person in this giveaway. Who will it be? We have 3 more names to go. Let's do 3, 4, and 5. 500,000 Mino each person who wins. So far, we got Spec Truth and we got Steven. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Oh my God, we have a founder in the chat. Everyone act normal. Marco, welcome. We were just talking about Poseidon DAO. Did you know that? Let's go. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Who won the Patrick plushie stuff? Mods. Mods. All right, number 3. Number 3 is... Oh, looks like it's Connor Diggin. I don't know who that is, but congratulations, Connor. Remove. Let's go, baby. All right, rapid fire. Next person. Who's the 4th winner? Ooh. Oh, Truth. That was so close. That was so close, Truth. Oh yeah, C90. Let's go, C90. W. C90. Let's go, C90. I did know who it was. That's my name my mama gave me, WC90. WYD Curious. Let's go, DeSci Curious, baby. YD Curious. Let's go. All right, removing him down to the last. We have Truth. We have Jonathan. We have It's Don D. We have Patel. We have Too Much at Once. We have Guinea. We have Beagle. We have X Sanchez. We got Shocks. We got Crypto Smith and Buchem. W. Very exciting time. The last person to win for this giveaway. Remember, guys, if you didn't end up winning and you still want some, it's a small prize, but it's pretty lit. I'm happy to give you guys some of the money that was gifted for the intention of giving to you guys. But if you didn't win, immediately after this on X, I'm going to go post another giveaway. So there's another chance. It'll be the same. 5 people get to win. Amanda just sprinted in here in like slow motion, so I didn't know what was going on. Immediately after this, I'm going to do another giveaway of 2.5 million Mino to 5 winners, 500,000 to each person. So if you didn't win, feel free to enter that one. That one you're gonna have to repost and like and follow me, you know, the normal stuff. But this one I really wanted to hear from all of you guys and see why it is you're bullish on DeSci. And honestly, it was a really good time getting to hear from everyone. So I'm super grateful for everyone who took the time to answer. It's Don D. That was so close, Jonathan. So close. It's Don D. Let's go. Let's go, baby. All right, congratulations to you 5. We got Spec Truth, we got Stephen L, we got C90, we got DeSci Curious, and it's Don D. Bullish. All right, that was fun. That was a fun time. Speaking of time, it's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means we have been live for 1 hour and 24 seconds. I have a call coming up in 1 hour that I need to go prep for, and I'm going to try and make some content today. I do want to let every one of you guys know that Saturday is probably going to be a red day in the market. I'm really sorry for having to break this news to everyone, but I am getting on a plane Saturday to go to Costa Rica with Amanda. So hopefully we can recover a little bit higher before we get the next red day coming in. But unfortunately for everyone who has bags in the crypto markets, Saturday is probably going to be red bleeder. But let's go. Still new here, but you got my X follow. Let's go, Castle. W in the chat for X Castle. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Your time is your most valuable asset. So hopefully this was worth investing it into. I appreciate all of you guys being here with me, sticking it through the DeSci markets ups and downs. It's all going to be worth it, baby. It's all worth it because we made friends along the way. All right, guys. I'll see you all in tomorrow's live stream.